Have you ever met someone who has the most incredible vision for their life? They can describe it in detail. Success, the freedom, the version of themselves they're working toward. When they talk about it, you actually believe them, because the passion is real. The intelligence is real, the desire is real, but months pass, then a year, then two. Nothing has moved, not even slightly. And the confusing part is this isn't a lazy person, isn't someone who doesn't care. This is someone who thinks about their goals constantly. So what is actually going on? Psychology has some answers, and they're more uncomfortable than most people want to admit. Because the reasons people dream big and do nothing have very little to do with capability and everything to do with what's happening beneath the surface. Let's get into it. The first reason is that thinking feels like doing. So one is subtle, but it rewires everything. When you vividly imagine achieving a goal, your brain doesn't just sit there passively. It actually responds. Releases small doses of satisfaction, almost like a preview of the real reward. And that preview? It's enough to take the edge off the urgency. So the person who spends an hour visualizing their successful business, their dream body, their ideal life, walks away from that session feeling like something happened. They moved the needle somehow. But nothing was built, nothing was sent, nothing was started. The brain got its hit and the body stayed exactly where it was. The second reason is that fear of failure is hiding underneath all that motivation. From the outside, it looks like ambition. On the inside, it's armor. 'Cause here's the quiet truth that most dreamers never say out loud. As long as they haven't tried, they haven't failed. As long as they haven't failed, the dream is still intact, still perfect, still possible. The moment they take real action, they risk real rejection, real disappointment, real evidence that maybe it won't work out. For a lot of people, protecting the dream feels safer than chasing it. So they stay in the planning phase indefinitely, not because they're not motivated, because they're terrified. The third reason is the endless wait for the right moment. There's always a reason to wait after the holidays, once things settle down. When I have more money, when I feel more ready, and it sounds responsible, it sounds like patience. But psychology is very clear on this. Readiness is not something that arrives before action. It's something that develops because of it. The people who waited until they felt ready are still waiting. The people who started before they felt ready are the ones with the results. Confidence doesn't create action. Action creates confidence. If you're waiting to feel it first, you've reversed the entire process. The fourth reason is that overthinking drains the energy that action needs. Thought about every step, every possible outcome, every way it could go wrong, and every way it could go right. By the time the thinking is done, something strange has happened. They're exhausted. Not physically, mentally, emotionally. The brain treats deep analytical thinking as work. It consumes real energy. So after a long session of planning, researching, and mapping out every detail, the mind is genuinely tired. And tired minds don't start things. They rest, they scroll, they say, "I'll begin tomorrow." And the cycle starts over. The fifth reason is one of the most overlooked. Identity doesn't match their goals yet. Brain is fiercely loyal to the story you tell about yourself. If somewhere underneath all the big dreams, a person quietly believes they're not the type to follow through, or that people like them don't really make it, the brain will protect that belief. Even against their own wishes, it will manufacture resistance, sudden doubt, unexpected obstacles that seem to appear right when momentum is building. Not out of self-destruction, but out of self-consistency. Because the brain would rather be right about who you are than be surprised by who you could become. Changing your life requires changing your identity first. That is some of the hardest work a human being can do. The sixth reason is that potential is addictive, and I mean that almost literally. Is a very real psychological high that comes from talking about what you're going to do, from imagining the future version of yourself, from being seen as someone with vision, with ideas, with promise. It creates energy, creates excitement. It creates a sense of identity that feels genuinely good. Actual progress is slow, it's repetitive, it's unglamorous. Sending the email nobody responds to. Showing up to practice when you're not improving yet. It's doing the same boring task for the 30th time without any sign that it's working. And for a brain that's been getting high on potential, that reality feels unbearable by comparison. So they stay attached to the idea, because the idea always feels better than the evidence. Here's where it all lands. Dreaming big is genuinely not rare. Plenty of people have extraordinary visions for their lives. What is rare is the willingness to act against your own resistance. Move when the brain is manufacturing reasons to stay still, to start before you're ready, to do the boring work even when the exciting version lives rent-free in your head. gap between dreaming and doing isn't talent, it isn't resources, it isn't timing. It's the decision to become someone who acts, even on the days when every part of your psychology is quietly lobbying for comfort. Decision is everything. Kindly subscribe and hit the like button for more.